Hey there, this is Dennis Anyone with Dennis Hensley. It's a podcast about making things up and making things happen. I love people who create things and create events. And today I have a sneak preview of Gay Days Anaheim, which is coming up September 18th to the 20th. I've got the producer, Eddie Shapiro, on the podcast, as well as drag queen goddess, Jackie Cox, who you may know and love from RuPaul's Drag Race. Jackie is performing at Gay Days for, I believe it's the 5th time. So the two of them and I have a wonderful conversation about the history of Gay Days, what makes it special. We're actually doing the mismatch game there on the 19th, which is going to be really fun. So the three of us get into a rollicking convo about all things Gay Days, and it's super fun. But before we get to the interview, I want to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by me. I do it. I love it. If you want to support it, there are a few things you can do. You can go to DennisAnyone.net and leave a tip in my virtual tip jar. Help me cover my expenses. I appreciate that. I also have a Substack and a Patreon called Dennis Hensley's Happy and Gay. You can check that out. It's free for the moment because I am too busy with my full-time day job to post as much as I had intended when I started it. But check it out. It's really fun. I try to post at least once a month. It's a little spin-off of this podcast with a little happiness nugget at the end, a topic I really like to talk and think about. What else can you do? You can come see the mismatch game in person at the LA Gay and Lesbian Center. That's happening on Friday, August 28th, I believe it is, at 7:30. It's our 80s edition. It's going to be really fun. We've got Melissa Peterman doing it, Danny Casillas, Jackie Beat, who else? Julie Brown is doing it, and Rebecca Cochin and Dante are doing it. It's going to be a blast. And tickets are really selling fast on this one, so don't dawdle. Go to my Instagram, Dennis C. Hensley. There's a link tree there. Or you can just search LA Gay and Lesbian Center, the mismatch game, and hopefully tickets will come up. And what else is going on? That's a big thing. Oh, I'm going to be part of this Live Love podcast cruise in February of next year. It's with Derek and Romaine. It's the 7th to the 14th out of LA going to Mexico. So come on a cruise with us. We're going to do like a live podcast and some other dog and pony show stuff, probably mismatch game stuff, craziness, whatever. Learn about that at dnrtravel.com. All right, enough of the plugs. Here now is my interview with Eddie Shapiro and Jackie Cox. Joining me now from Los Angeles, California, it's Eddie Shapiro. He is the producer of Gay Days Anaheim, which is coming up in September. And we've also got, all the way from Provincetown, we've got Jackie Cox, drag queen extraordinaire, who is going to be performing at Gay Days. So this is our Gay Days sneak preview episode. Welcome, you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
I can't believe it's the 28th year. When I read that, I was like, does that time is weird, you guys. Have you noticed how weird time is?
No, not only, I mean, now that you actually said that out loud, Dennis, like at my first Gay Days, I was 28. So this is upsetting.
Wow. I know. 28 years. What do you remember about that first year, Eddie? You were there. What happened? Oh my God.
Well, that first year was, so I had been at Disney World with a friend, Jeffrey. We had been to Gay Days there and had a great time. We had a really fun time. But we looked at it and thought, oh, this is really interesting. So much of what happens at this Gay Days thing. Yes, there's this in-park thing where all these people are there wearing red shirts and that energy feels really fantastic. But then all of these parties and external events were happening way off property, like around SeaWorld and, far away. And it felt disjointed. And a lot of the people that we spoke to, were going to the parties, but not necessarily even setting foot in a park.
Right.
And Jeffrey and I are driving back from SeaWorld. We're on the freeway and he literally says to me, we should bring this to Disneyland. And I say, yeah, I agree, but I would like it to be a lot more Disney-centric. So literally we came up with it on the car on the way back.
Yeah.
And we decided when we launched that first Gay Days that we were going to do everything on property or walking distance. And although in that first year, we weren't doing parties or anything like that. It was just like literally at that time, I was working for AIDS Walk, Los Angeles, and I was canvassing every weekend at 3rd Street Promenade when that was still a thing. So
Yeah.
I was signing up people for the AIDS Walk and handing out flyers for gay days at the same time. And, there were AOL chat rooms, and that's how we were getting people there. And it was it was awesome. But, it was just people showing up in their red shirts and showing up as community, which it's harder and harder to get that these days, right? Because community is found online.
Yeah, it's strange. Our world has changed so much. Were you nervous that people were going to show up, or do you remember thinking like, "What is this going to work? Are we going to get people here that first year?"
Not so much nervous because there were no stakes. It was sort of like we're just gathering people to try to bring people together and create some fun.
Right.
So it was exciting seeing all the red shirts. And that was also the year that we coined the phrase accidental red, because you'd see some hot guy walking from afar and you'd be like, oh, look over there. And then you'd see that he was with his wife or whatever. And you'd be like, oh, accidental reds. So there was plenty of that. But it was only in that second year that we started then doing like, okay, everybody, now we're going to do a meetup at the bar at the Disneyland Hotel, which was then Captain Hook themed. It seemed appropriate. So we invited all the Lost Boys to, the bar, the Neverland bar at the Disneyland Hotel. And then it was the year after that we saw the show Animazement, which was playing in the Fantasyland Theater, and everybody's coming out of Animazement and all these red shirts are coming out at once. And I just screamed at the top of my lungs. And the top of my lungs is loud. I screamed, stop! And like they all stopped so that I could take the first group picture. So it just sort of happened organically. And, we grew from there.
I love that.
And now we have, Jackie Cox coming back to Gay Days for her 5th time. Like we grow and grow.
Now, Jackie, what do you remember about your first exposure to Gay Days? Did you go as a fan before you started performing there, or was it the first time you performed?
So not quite 28 years ago, but I worked at the park over 20 years ago.
Nice.
I worked at the parks around the 50th anniversary celebration. And the parks having just celebrated their 70th.
What were you doing?
I was in the parades back then.
Yes, you were.
And I remember Gay Days being one of my favorite days to do parades because obviously the gays love a parade.
Yeah.
And so it was always so fun. But, Disneyland has always been a gay place for me. I had my very first kiss on the Pirates of the Caribbean with a boy.
That's amazing. Who was it? What's the story? A little more.
He was a fellow pin trader. This is so nerdy.
Right.
And we met pin trading. And then we bopped around the parks together because I used to have an annual pass, and I would in high school and college and I would bop around. And speaking of Animazement, my very first boyfriend was a Tumblr in that very show.
I mean, what is hotter? That's the hottest sentence that's ever been uttered, I think. My very first boyfriend was a Tumblr in Animazement? Come on.
Yeah, he was one of the flipping menus.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to?
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Amazing.
I love dating a menu. So many choices.
Exactly.
So many choices.
Exactly.
So many choices.
Jackie, when you were in the parades, what were you? Were you just a face character or a dancing person, or what was your
I was
vibe?
a dancing person. I opened the Block Party Bash parade in 2000, and I guess we opened in 2005, right? That would make sense. We opened in 2005. In the Block Party Bash parade, which was very of that era, early 2000s. We were all dressed up as colorful rainbow raver kids.
Yes, you were.
Dancing to pop songs, which is funny because it's kind of now that I think about it, the show I'm bringing this year to Gay Days, it's a little different than the shows I brought in the past. It's a duo show with Jan. And it's called Y2J, and we're celebrating kind of the music of that era with our show. So it's kind of full circle moment, and 28 years ago was the Y2K era for Gay Days too.
Yeah.
I think it's all coming together.
Ponytails up on top and the whole, it's all circles back around.
I love it. I worked on cruise ships for a while, and occasionally, I never worked a gay cruise, but there would be a group of guys that came on. And let me tell you, I tried harder in those shows. So you're in that parade. Are you cruising? Are you trying to make eye contact? Are you turning it on for the red-shirted gays?
Oh, absolutely. And the best is, depending on my schedule, but, I would absolutely clock out, scrub off whatever color they had us spraying our hair that day and, put on a red shirt and go look around the park myself.
Exactly. That's
there's video you can look at. I mean, it's quite famous now. It's gone viral. But like Clarabelle Cow at the Pride Night Parade, like turning it out. Like people, like those parade dancers, are the sharpest they ever are on gay days.
Yeah, they want to turn it on because it's family primarily, and also they know the gays are going to have notes if they don't. Just like you had notes after the first gay days in Florida. You're like, I have notes.
Yes, exactly. But they'll give it back with energy. I mean, that's, what I love about gay days so much is that, like, the energy at gay days is just unlike any other day in the park. Most days in the park, people go there and they're mostly focused on the people they came with, their friends who they're with, or their family members, whomever. You're kind of, everybody else is incidental, and you're focused on your traveling party. Whereas at gay days, the energy is very outward facing. Everybody's sort of interested in, like, who else is here? Who else is at the party? And connecting with other people. The smiles, just smiling at people. I get asked all the time about solos, and will I feel comfortable at gay days as a solo? And the numbers of people who tell me that they met their boyfriend at gay days, like, I feel like like Dolly Levi. It's kind of fantastic.
That's wild. Jackie, you mentioned your show Y2K. It's just going to feel gay.
Y2J.
Y2J
for Jackie and Jan.
Yes, the two of you together at last, and you're giving us the 2000s music. How many Britneys? Are you just doing one of each, or what's the strategy?
Well, let me tell you, we are actually doing, because Britney and Christina are the most kind of requested for this era. We actually do a diva battle off, and I won't tell you who is who, but we each do 3 songs from Britney and 3 songs from Christina, and I won't tell you which. You'll have to tune in.
I know. I love Jeannie. I love Jeannie, but it's before 2000, I think. But anyway,
well, it's the Y2K era. So Y2K era, I think if you Wikipedia it, which I did, it's like the era from like 97 to 2004. It's kind of the beginning of that, like, post Mickey Mouse Club pop explosion, up until kind of that all those girls kind of like turned, a little more rough, and Britney shaving her head and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of that, like, that sweet bubblegum era when they were all like not quite Mickey Mouse Club, but moving on from that.
Yeah, Slave for You era, Ain't No Other Man era. It was amazing. Why don't we love Christina like we love Britney? I have a theory. I mean, we love her, we respect her. It's that she sings too much with the riffs.
Well, there is something for gay men loving a woman who's very vulnerable.
Yes.
We think of Judy Garland, and you can draw kind of a line from Judy Garland to Britney Spears. We love a woman who is both powerful, and yet we see her vulnerability. And I think Christina's always been a little tougher.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I do think that there's something in Britney that I think, the vulnerability, I think, is what inevitably draws us back to her. But I love Christina too. I love them both. I know. We should all love them both, but there is something where Britney, you're just like, oh, she's in our hearts. And Christina's more like, riff girl, Eddie, you've got a look on your face like. No. I just know that you are very much like this is your wheelhouse, Dennis. Well, it's just fascinating to me. Like, Christina's still killing it. She's still she's vital. But do we appreciate her enough? Why don't we? Why isn't she right there front and center in our hearts? But you're going to bring it to life. So there's that. Jackie always brings it to life. But, Jackie, I am curious, because I don't think I've ever asked you this. Gay Days is never the best payday for you, right? You can always do better elsewhere, because our houses, truth be told, the theaters are not as big as they
as some of the places that you get to play. People are, you're competing with the parks. People have bought park tickets, and then you're asking them to leave the park to come to see your show. But you keep coming back, which I love that you do. You're Gay Days family. But like, what's your favorite? What makes you want to keep coming back to Gay Days?
Oh, well, I mean, it is a lovely audience that comes. And I do think, I've done the Sunday evening spot for a couple years now. And I like that spot too, because it's, they've had the parks for all weekend, and, it's Sunday, sometimes they're driving back after my show back to wherever they live. Maybe it's not quite in Orange County. And so I kind of like the people can end their weekend with me. I think there is a show after me still this Sunday, but I like doing that Sunday evening spot. I just love the audiences are so like receptive, and I love that they like to kind of, my drag is a little bit more storytelling and a little bit more something that I think the true fans of Disney theme parks kind of appreciate what my drag is. It's not, in your face cooter slamming kind of jams, but me and Jan are going to put together a lovely show. We just did a sold out show here for Carnival Week in Provincetown, and it's honestly, it's millennial candy, our show. So millennials are kind of the like sweet spot of who the Gay Days customer is. So I'm excited to kind of bring that to life, and and it's going to be something different than what I've done. I've done a little more Disney focused shows in the past, so this will be something a little different. Last year I brought my one woman show that I've been touring with in Provincetown. So this will be something new, a duo show that they haven't seen yet. I'm excited for the Gay Days audience to see this moment. And Jan and I just love to run around the parks and be silly as well, which we'll get to do as well.
Now, you guys met doing Drag Race. You're on the same season. Did you happen to know each other before then, or was that when you first got to know each other?
Yes, we'd known each other before then, and we did do Drag Race together. We actually got really close, though, doing you worked at Therapy, which is no longer exists, which is a bar in Hell's Kitchen that we used to do shows at together.
Yeah.
And that's where we got really close. And now we share the same manager, and so we work together a lot. And a few years ago, we started writing these kind of duo cabaret shows. We've done a couple of different Christmas shows, and this is our third kind of original brand new cabaret. We did one that was all about a road trip last year, and the one before that was all about gay vacation destinations. But this one was like, you know what, let's do something that's a little bit closer to our hearts as millennial queens and give them a millennial love fest.
I love it. What is it about your chemistry? Dennis, go ahedd.
Just so you Jackie and Jan, and one of the reasons I love them so much, unlike so many drag queens out there, they sing live. Stuff that they're doing is not just, I don't want to knock the lip sync queens, but their talent exceeds that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Eddie.
Yeah, it's very sweet. What is it about your chemistry that you think works so well?
Well, I think it's what I say, this is true about any cabaret show. I think the success to any cabaret show, because unlike something scripted where, there's a fourth wall and I'm just watching something happen on stage, or unlike a concert, which is just primarily about the music or the, musicianship, the reason you go to a cabaret is because you want to spend an hour like with someone or with a pair of people. And so what I think people love about me and Jan is that we're honestly really good friends. We've traveled all around the world. We've toured Australia, Canada, the UK, all, together and done all that. And so I think when people get to spend an hour with us, it's like they're hanging out with us and having fun with us the way we have fun with each other. And I think that's true of like any cabaret. Like if the key to being a good cabaret artist is like create an environment where people feel like they're ready to be with you and want to be with you. I just think that's really important that I like bring my audience along wherever I go, because they're all, there are better singers than me out there. You can go, watch some amazing singers do a concert. There are, there are incredible other types of entertainment, but that's, I think, the key to a cabaret is there's no fourth wall. So you're there with me and we're going to have a good time.
I love that.
Jackie, do you think the Gay Days audience, because you do have certainly you do have a following that does, as you say, they get you, they know you, they come to see what you deliver. But I think at Gay Days, there's a particular audience that knows you as a Gay Days stalwart, and they ask for you. Like the year that you weren't there, we were getting requests for you. Like, do you think they're a particular brand of audience that is sort of...
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier, is I think that the types of fans who actually appreciate the, like, theme park storytelling, right? There's a reason why this isn't Magic Mountain days. You know, it's like people like appreciate the storytelling that goes into some of the most beloved Disney attractions and entertainment. And I think that that's something that, you know, in my small way, I try to bring the thoughtfulness to my drag. So I think that's probably a big part of it. Like if you're an audience, and the Gay Days audience loves this, who likes to go and sit in the tiki room for 20 minutes, even though they've been to it 20 million times, then you're my kind of people. You know, it's a bit of camp, a bit of nostalgia, and appreciation for storytelling, I think is like what the Gay Days audience is, at least in my experience.
Right. And you're one of them. You're a fan like them.
And I'm one of them.
Yeah. No, they probably feel it.
Tiki room and do the little dance.
Exactly. I would love to hear both of you, some of your favorite memories of Gay Days past. Were there moments that were magic? Were there moments that were just like a disaster? Or moments that were just like...
I'll tell you one memory. So a couple years ago, it was the very first time that they brought Agatha Harkness to the parks. It was during Gay Days weekend. Agatha is a character that I did a multi-series Instagram on and had like all these Agatha Harkness costumes built. You know, my dream is still to like hang out with Catherine Hahn. So, you know, putting that out there. But in the meantime, you know, I got very lucky that a cast member that was working with Eddie was able to get me dressed up as Agatha Harkness to meet Agatha Harkness at the parks. That was a very cool memory because I think it was sold out or something or whatever. But one of the cast members that was working with Eddie was able to get me a meet and greet with the Agatha Harkness, which was very fun. We queened out together.
And you were dressed like her.
And I was dressed like her.
Here's the thing in that situation. You don't want to do better than them. Or it's weird, right? But how did you handle that? Because maybe you did do better than them in terms of the look. We had
a great time.
Okay.
I mean, there are so many talented cast members at the park. So I always defer to them, and I had a really great time. That was a very cool memory that I got to experience a couple years ago.
I bet the pictures are amazing. Did you nail the look?
Oh, yeah.
You have to go back on my TikTok and see.
No,
okay.
She absolutely nailed the look. The look was, I would say the look was superior. But
thank you. Exactly. That's what I was hinting at.
It was definitely sparklier.
Okay, that's fair enough.
It was sparklier.
Eddie, what are some memories?
Oh my God, I have so many. Like, of course I do, over 28 years. But like, they range from the memories of just like watching people like literally, you know, propose marriage at Gay Days. That's beautiful. To like, you know, a couple of years ago, I had the experience. I start to wonder, and this is part of aging. I start to wonder if like, oh wow, when we started this in the 90s and coming together as a gay community meant so much more than it seems to right now, right? It's this tale as old as time that the gayborhoods are dying out, the gay bars are dying out, that with assimilation, what that has brought is that people don't need exclusively queer spaces as much anymore. So I have questioned, like, is Gay Day still relevant? Does it still matter to people? And just as I'm thinking about that, this woman comes up to me at the group photo. This is probably 3 years ago. And she says, I just want to share with you that when I was young, my school in Irvine did an annual trip to Disneyland every weekend, and it always fell over Gay Days weekend. So I would come, and I was very much in the closet, and I would come, and I would see all these people and think, okay, there's a community waiting for me when I'm ready. And now here I am. And that is the kind of thing that, you know, when I hear those kinds of stories, about people who really do, see this as a connection point. And it's not just gay, it's the Disney gay.
Right.
That is really moving to me. And I love it when people share that kind of feedback. And then I have personal memories that are like insane. I mean, one of my best days in the park, sometimes on the Saturday of Gay Days weekend, I have a little bit of time to play. And there were a couple of years ago, just Jackie and I were running around the park like crazy loons. And that was really, really fun. But then there was the year, because if anybody who knows me knows that I'm a Broadway queen, that when Carol Channing came to Gay Days, and then I spent the day in the park with Carol Channing.
Did you go on rides with Carol Channing?
We went on rides. And like my favorite, I mean, we bump into the Mad Hatter, and she's starts with jam tomorrow, jam yesterday. I mean, that whole, it's like shocking. We go meet Mickey. Mickey bows down to Carol Channing. I mean, it was crazy. We were walking over to the railroad, and they have Hello Dolly music on the background music. So we're walking over to the train, and Carol takes my hand and put on your Sunday clothes I mean, come on. It's crazy. So that kind of stuff will always make my heart sing.
I just can't imagine her navigating those crowds and going for it and going on rides and stuff. But that was her thing.
89. She was 89 at the time, and her husband was 90. And actually, my favorite, I had an expectation that day was going to be a day of it's crowded here. They're gonna want to take it easy.
Yeah.
But they
that thought.
They wanted to do everything. And when we got off of the Peter Pan ride, Harry, Carol's late husband, was staring at the carousel. And I'm like, I hadn't planned on taking them on the carousel. It's a carousel. Nothing especially, unique about that carousel. But I said, but he's staring at it. And I say, Harry, did you want to ride? And he said, I'm looking at it. I said, well, then let's ride. So we get on the carousel, and Carol takes a bench, and she starts putting on her very pink lipstick. But Harry wants a horse. So he's 90. So, he puts one foot in.
I find this so moving.
So I literally lift him onto the horse, and the picture of him just full of joy, will mean everything to me forever. And he called me after the fact kind of regularly. I mean, he died later that year. It wasn't me, I swear. But he would say to me, you don't know what you gave us. And I would say, Harry, you don't know what you gave me. It was just watching them sort of grab every ounce of juice they could out of life was really inspiring.
Right.
So that will be a favorite personal memory always. But there are always new ones. I mean, this year, as you know, Dennis, you've known me for a million years, and you know that Charlie's Angels is, like deep in my soul, and that Jacqueline is coming this year is kind of massive. And I'm calling it, she's on right before Jackie Cox. I'm calling it A Tale of Two Jackies.
There it is. I love it. Now, I assume you're doing the interview, the Q&A.
I am.
Should I change my show to Y3J?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Oh, Jacqueline, does she know how many gay boys imitated the hat move from the opening credits? Does she know what a rite of passage that is for us?
I am fascinated to talk to her about something that I've never seen any of the Angels really talk about, which is the gay following.
Yes.
Certainly I have my own theories, but I'm curious to know what their thoughts are about, their gay followings. And obviously she knows what this is, so she knows what she's in for.
Yeah. I had Chico's Angels on the podcast earlier this summer, and I was like, why did we love Charlie's Angels? I mean, why? I guess it makes sense. It's kind of glamorous and it's women, but we all did. That was like my favorite show. I was obsessed with it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Anyways, talk about
Chico's Angels. Quesadilla is doing Drag Bingo also on that same Sunday.
I love it.
You could see Quesadilla, Jackie Cox, Jacqueline Smith, all on the same day.
It's amazing. And if you come the night before, you will see the mismatch game, which we've been doing at Gay Days for, it feels like 20 years, but it's we started in the pandemic, Eddie. Do you remember? It was like 2021.
It was pre-pandemic, I thought.
I don't think so. I think the first year we ever did it was me running between chairs with panelists 6 feet apart. That's my memory in this gigantic ballroom. Like 2021. It feels like we've been doing it a lot longer.
I remember that was the year of Audra McDonald and Cheetah Rivera. I remember we had that.
Yeah, me, Audra, and Cheetah, we travel in a pack. But here's what I want to say about the audiences for Gay Days. It's like Jackie said, they could be doing anything, but they come to your show. And now they come dressed as inside jokes from the previous year's mismatch game. Like they have a story going on about the show and the people. It's really heartening, actually, because I was kind of like, is anyone going to show up to this? And they come and they remember the inside jokes. And one guy, there was one year where I'm not super literate with Disney, and maybe I thought Simba was Scar, or maybe I got confused. And one was, is that an animal or a man? Like, I just didn't know. And so next year, somebody came dressed as that character, just as like, look, this is the thing that you didn't know last year. So anyway, the Gay Days fans are really a special breed of nuts, and they get the humor, and they're like, it's kind of like Jackie said, they have a sophisticated taste level, and that's really cool.
You know what also fascinates me about this Gay Days audience that we're talking about? You know, I always sort of assume that it's largely Southern California locals, but I'm sending out the T-shirts right now, right? The T-shirts have been available for mail order, and people pre-order them so that they can shrink them and cut them and slice them and bedazzle them and all that before Gay Days. I'm literally sending them to Kansas and Michigan and Missouri and Washington State and Hawaii. And I'm like, are you just collecting shirts, or are you people coming from all those places? Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
I love it. Talk about some of the other entertainers that you have lined up. I know Cheyenne Jackson's doing a show.
Cheyenne Jackson is doing a show, and Cheyenne Jackson and I have come up with a formula that I really enjoy. So, you know, Patti LuPone does this thing called Songs from a Hat, where she just puts the names of songs in a hat and then has an audience member pick a song, and whatever they pick that she sings. And when Seth Rudetsky does his shows, he intersperses, you know, Seth is a musical director and pianist, and he will have Broadway stars like, you know, Anley Ashford or Sutton Foster or whomever, perform with him, and intersperse between the numbers, they will chat about their career or that song or whatever it is. So Cheyenne and I have combined it. So I sit on stage with him. He picks songs from a hat. We talk about the songs. We talk about his kids, and it's very spontaneous that way. It's not a canned or prepared show. It just is of the moment, which is really, really fun. So we'll be doing that again. Irene the Alien is making her Gay Days debut after Jackie and Jan. And Alyssa Edwards, drag queen royalty, is coming back after many, many years. So she'll be there, and we have a dance party called Kingdom. But then, of course, that's all the paid stuff. Those are all the paid ticket things. But then there's all that stuff that happens in the park that I alluded to before, where people in their red shirts, I mean, riding the steamboat, the Mark Twain, and having it completely taken over by red shirts, or the group photo, or the tiki room that Jackie talked about, where we do seated choreography in the tiki room. The goal is every year that we bring an environment to the parks that you can't get any other time of the year. So that's what we try to bring. And whether or not you're partaking of the additional shows or just hanging in the park, we want it to feel special.
For both of you, this political moment is more fraught than previous eras. Do you feel that when you're performing or when you're putting on these shows? Do you feel like more of a need for people to connect? Do you feel the fear? Do you feel the moment? Or is a show a show?
Jackie, you can take it first.
Well, certainly as a show person, I know that my goal is to, leave you with a feeling that is hopefully joy. Creating queer joy is something that I think is really powerful in this time. That's like, it's the way that we fight back and that we create something, because there's so much going against whatever things are happening out there in the world that are horrible, and they are, but there's also something about creating something positive I think is important too. So I think creating a space where people feel welcome to be their full selves is important. Putting on events with queer entertainers that are put together by queer people, I think is really important. I think that's in contrast to maybe some of the more sanitized corporate versions of prides and things. I think it's important to actually have an event that's created by a queer person and hires queer entertainers. And of course there are, I'm not saying Jacqueline Smith is queer, but I'm saying that, there is me, Irene, Cheyenne, Alyssa, we're all queer entertainers, and you
Zach
get
Noe
to
Towers
enjoy
is
our
coming
artwork.
as well. Zach Noe Towers is coming, and he's a gay comic.
Oh yeah, Zach Noe Towers. I love Zach.
Yeah.
Zach's incredible. I've done cruise ships with Zach, and just having a space where queer entertainers can entertain a queer family I think that's a huge way. A form of resistance is by creating community, because when you create community, we're undeniable.
Yeah, and also it means more. It just means more to people because they're not taking anything for granted anymore. Eddie, what do you think? Do you notice the changes in the political winds when you're putting this event together?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, so first, just on a financial level, a lot of our corporate support, and this is well known, going on in throughout the industry of events, but our corporate support dried up as soon as this administration was elected a second time.
Like literally dried up.
Literally, not completely, but several sponsors, including, for that matter, the Disney sponsors, Disney Vacation Club, Aulani, the Disney Resort, Adventures by Disney, who had all been corporate sponsors for over a decade, all of a sudden gone.
What do they say to you when they're like, "Oh, we're just going in a different direction this year"?
That is what they say.
Yeah.
That is what they say. But and they're not the only ones. But like a lot of the money that we used to produce the event was suddenly gone. So that's a very real challenge. But then separate from that, when we first started Gay Days, while the agenda was never we didn't do it for the purpose of being political. I was well aware that we were quite political.
Yeah.
That being there, showing up at America's number one family destination with our families of choice and saying, "Yep, we're here too. We belong here too. This is just as much our right to be here as it is you, family of 4 from Sheboygan," that was a statement that we made with our very presence, and it was pretty important. And in the early years, there was a lot of pushback and a lot of explaining, even teaching Disney, who were quite famously, they used to give out white T-shirts to people who came in wearing red and complained. So Disney provided them an alternative until I pointed out, by saying like there's something wrong with being confused as a gay person, that's actually kind of homophobic. And they stopped. But it's progression, but those are the early years. And then, there were the years of sort of settling in. And now here we are again, feeling as a community, somewhat beleaguered, and the importance of coming together as community in real life, together, humans, not just online, not just with likes and clicks, but showing up and meeting other people and connecting with other people, and even just looking into each other's eyes and saying, "Yeah, we've been through it together." I had that last night. I was at an event and somebody asked me how I was, and rather than just saying fine, talking about the malaise that I feel daily when I look at the news and I just feel part of the world today, and how much it means, as Jackie said, to come to a place where there's queer joy, and to remember that there are other things to be living for, even as the rest of the bullshit's going on. It's important.
Yeah, and Disney you guys did this independently, and what has your relationship been like with them over the years, with Disney, the company? Do you do your own thing and then just show up in the red shirts and that's it, or what's the vibe like?
Right. So it started out that way.
Yeah.
And then when we got it got during those especially calm good years, Disney decided, oh look, there's crowds coming in, and we can sell to those crowds.
Yeah.
So they started actually doing things during Gay Days like rainbow cake, and merchandising that they would put out in the parks, especially for Gay Days. They used to do lunch deals just on Gay Days weekend, where we would direct people to specific locations to get special deals. And in recent years, they've pulled back from all of that. I'm not going to opine as to why. But they're doing a lot less of that. There are ways in which, though, we continue to have to work in cooperation with them. Like I described the Tiki Room thing, right? if we were not in touch with operations to let them know that we were coming, right? Then that would understandably shock some cast members. So now they're ready for us.
They know you're coming, and they know that you have choreography. How hard is a choreography? The Tiki Room thing that people.
Well, as I said, it's seated choreography.
Okay, it's just okay.
So, right,
Jackie's acting it out.
Get up and dance in the
it's all hand. I could pick that shit up. Okay,
but you totally could.
Yeah.
And we have somebody standing on the steps of the Tiki Room before you go in, training. So teaching all the choreography so that when you get in, you're ready for it. But it is something to behold when you're in there. It is the only time, literally, the lines for the Tiki Room stretch down past Jolly Holiday Bakery during gay days. It is the only time of the year I've ever seen a line outside of the Tiki Room for the Tiki Room.
I love it. You guys made the Tiki Room like the thing again. They should be thrilled. Those birds should be thrilled.
Well, that was the creation of the late great drag queen Mama.
Yes, Mama.
So Mama was part of Gay Days for a long time.
Yes.
Since she's passed, we do it. I mean, we continue to do it because it's popular, but also in tribute.
What a gem of a person, Mama. So the Tiki Room was Mama's thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mama came into right around 2005. Mama started we had a committee of people who were coming up with ideas and stuff to bring to Gay Days, and Mama brought us that, and she also started the first Gay Day scavenger hunt, which we still do to this day. And the scavenger hunt, again, it's a free thing that you can sign up for, and we'll just give you a scavenger hunt to do at your leisure. But it's a way to, again, enjoy the parks in a way that you can't get any other time of year. And you can do it with groups of friends. You can compete or not compete. And sometimes, especially during Gay Days and Halloween season, the lines are long. So instead of waiting online for pirates, you could be, running around doing your own activity.
There you go. All right. Jackie, what are you looking forward to about this year, particularly?
Well, on a personal note, I'm bringing my boyfriend, and he's never been to Disneyland.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a plan?
Hit him hard.
Hit him hard, right? Because I once went to Disneyland with Eddie. I went to Disneyland with Eddie and Jeffrey once, and let me tell you, this is not a leisurely day in the park. You're like, it is mapped out, and you're running, and you're just like, at one point I think I disappeared and went to like the Muppet Land for a while just to chill. But anyway, you have a plan and you do it. He's going to go nuts. He's going to love it.
He's going to love it. Well, and both Eddie and I are quite the Disney history buffs too. So it'll also be a walking tour.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's the sexiest place in the park? The cruisiest, the make-outiest, the most romantic?
My most romantic spot is Pirates, where I had my first kiss when I was 15, which is crazy to say.
Do you remember what part of the ride? Was it near the end when you're like, we got to do this now or it's not going to happen?
I'm pretty sure he kissed me right after we passed the Blue Bayou.
Isn't that always how it is? You were alone in the boat?
Yeah, it was late.
So you had your own boat?
Before, the parks were always packed all the time, always. This was back when, on a given Wednesday or Thursday, the parks would clear out by 8 or 9,
That's so beautiful.
I have a little tip with regard to that, which is that there have been some times when I've wanted to get cuddly. And I don't mean filthy. I just mean cuddly.
Sure.
So getting on Pirates or getting on Small World, I always ask for the last row, because that way, nobody is you're not a spectacle. You're behind all the other guests, so they're unaware of your canoodling.
Yes. The Disney fans are very passionate. And sometimes you'll hear about a person that I went to 17 parks in a week, and you're like, where do you get the money? There's all these questions about stuff. What's it some fan stuff that you've observed where you're like, that is commitment. They are hardcore. Or maybe you're that person. Do you know what I'm talking about? With collections or going to see certain things over and over again, or sometimes I just marvel at the commitment.
I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
And I don't count myself amongst those people.
I don't think it's bad. But I sometimes wonder how it works,
it works.
How money works?
How money works.
You make it and then you spend it. That's kind of how it works, Dennis.
Thank you.
Look, the Disney fan and actually the hold that the Walt Disney Company has over people is a fascinating Margaret Mead of an exploration. And I think, it all really exploded with Instagram, right? Because
how does that tie in?
Well, it's I have to have the special edition ears, the special edition backpack. I have to do my hair I have to be seen holding the churro that just came out this week. There's a whole culture of quote unquote influencers. I don't want to call them influencers because that implies that they actually influence anybody. But there's a whole culture of people who are constantly posting photos of themselves and videos of themselves wearing or eating the latest and greatest in the park. And it's one way to spend a life.
Yeah. It's one way to spend a life. I think that might be the headline of this episode. I've been freelancing at Disney in the visual comms department this year, and I really liked being part of this company. I really do feel like that the spirit is a real thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like the people are nice and all of that stuff. But I was learning some things about D23, which just happened, and it's not families. It's not like kids. It's singles. It's adults with money that can go and do all this stuff. And the hot ticket this year, or the hot item apparently, any guesses? They're a pair of ears.
The Princess Diaries ears.
Yes, that was the hot item. Everyone was talking about they had to get it, and if they didn't get it, and so it's.
I walked away from them. I was in the store at D23. I saw them. I saw that Princess Diaries stuff, and I didn't need them. And then only after the fact did I become aware that people would have given me their extra kidneys for the privilege.
They're so all about it. They're so all about it.
Well, I mean, I think that's all an example of I do think millennials and up are the last generations to have real understanding of monoculture. And that's something that Disney has obviously been champions of since its inception, since Snow White in 1937. It's like Mickey Mouse. These are things that like the entirety of American culture knows and understands. I would say for a generation of millennials, Princess Diaries is that as well. And I think that unfortunately Gen Z and younger will never quite have those experiences the way that my generation and above did, which is that, every single, I think, gay person and or femme person who was alive and of a certain age watched the Princess Diaries. So I'm not surprised at all. But I mean, it's the same thing with Star Wars, Marvel. I mean, the company has all of these properties that are kind of like singularly part of the monoculture, which becomes less and less as media fragments into every niche kind of media. But there are still these cultural pillars that the Disney company has kind of taken ownership of that will kind of in some ways be evergreen as long as they can keep appealing to that.
I think that's true. I think that's true. But at the same time, there's something that is uniquely Disney, which is that, so Princess Diaries is a perfect example of a movie that everybody saw. And there are others, like, for example, Jurassic Park, roughly same, but people don't feel the need to outfit themselves in Jurassic Park gear. But when Princess Diaries ears dropped, everybody
or Avatar. Avatar is like the most popular movie ever. Nobody has Avatar sheets.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand, like, why things.
Also, I mean, it also depends on what it is, right? I think if there was a Devil Wears Prada ears, if that was a Disney property, those would also sell well. I think
there would be fierce
there's something to the, like, she's a princess. People want a crown. I just don't know if people want like a, pterodactyl. Yeah.
But I think that because Disney is selling it, right? They've just cornered the market on a demand that nobody. I mean, it's sort of like animation too. Every other studio has an animation division, but they're all they pale in comparison, right? Disney has a if not a monopoly, a
dominance.
A dominance.
But I was thinking about this recently because when I was growing up, we didn't have new Disney animated movies. You would get a re-release every 7 years of Snow White or something like that, but we didn't have Lion King, then Aladdin, then all those things that
Yes, you did. You just weren't paying attention.
No, but I was young. I was
The Rescuers in 1970.
The Rescuers, I thought of that.
The Fox and the Hound in 1980.
I guess I wasn't. But I also remember like the Dexter Riley movies, the Kurt Russell comedies. Like those were my Disney jams. But
the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Yes. Like those were, like that stuff for sure. But it wasn't like that monolith movie every year that was just like huge. Yeah. Like I remember when Little Mermaid happened, and then from there we were off to the races. But
that's the Renaissance. That's the Renaissance, and now you're into Jackie's age.
Yeah, we're into Jackie's age. Jackie, you mentioned earlier traveling.
Little Mermaid is the very first movie I saw in theaters.
Which one?
Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. And I take it.
I think probably the very first first release movie I saw in theaters.
Yeah. And you remember being swept away by it.
I remember being absolutely terrified. I had to leave when Ursula came out.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I was so scared, but I still loved it, but I was scared. Yeah. And then when I was a little older the next year, Beauty and the Beast came out, and I saw that in the movie theaters 5 times.
Wow.
But little did you know, watching Ursula, that, you know, you're watching a drag queen and that it would be so incredibly coarse.
Influential.
Yeah. It's so wild. Jackie, you mentioned traveling all over the world and doing your shows and stuff like that. Just on a practical level, I imagined a queen like you traveling. I bet you have it down, how to pack, how to do your thing. Like I bet you could teach a class and how you fucking do this, right? How many bags are we talking?
Well, but there's 2 things I will tell people. Yeah. One is airline status is great when you can get it, because then you can just bring giant suitcases and you don't really have to pack them that carefully. And 2, you have to relax when you travel. If you don't know how to the minute I call the Uber to take me to the airport, I just let go and let God. You can't be stressed if the Uber's not going to make it. You gotta relax. And if that means for you, got to set enough time that you relax. You have to treat your travel time as your relaxing time.
I love that. And you close your eyes in a little moment of
the minute I get on the plane, I fall asleep. And if I don't fall asleep right away, I put something on the little screen that's going to put me to sleep. You have to treat every moment you're traveling as if you have not a care in the world. Because the minute you start worrying, oh my God, am I going to make it? Is there going to be enough room in the bin for my luggage? Blah, 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 blah. Then you're just if you do that every week, you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, I like that.
That's my advice to all travelers. Treat your travel time as your me time.
Yeah,
Actually, get that extra glass of wine at the airport.
Why not?
You do you.
Yes.
I'm going to say that Jackie is particularly good at perspective. There have been moments, more than one, where, because when I freak out about something, I'm not subtle about it. And when I've been upset and and I talk to Jackie and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is happening. And she's like, yeah. She's very good at being sanguine and kind of letting stuff roll.
That's how you got to be. I respect that. I try to do that as well. How did you guys first meet, the 2 of you?
Through Gay Days. So right after my season was the pandemic, but then the first Gay Days back after the pandemic, Heidi, I think you reached out to my manager and we booked me for Gay Days. Is that right?
I don't remember if I booked you for Gay Days or for an AIDS walk first, because I also booked you for AIDS walks. I don't remember which one was first.
Or Jeffrey may have also put us in contact with each other.
No,
I don't actually remember.
Jeffrey. It wasn't Jeffrey. And I'm pretty sure that the first year you came was that year of Audra and Cheetah, and the first year that you're talking about, Dennis, because I remember hanging in the park with you and Jan and Nina.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. All right. I have a couple more, one final question for each of you. But first, let's get a plug in for Gay Days. When is it? What do people need to know? Where do they need to go? And anything else you'd like to promote?
Sure. Well, Gay Days is September 18th to 20th this year in Anaheim, obviously at Disneyland. And our website, gaydaysanaheim.com. All of the information on each of these shows, but most importantly, there's a schedule page up there. So the full schedule of events, where and when everything is, both in park and all of the shows and all that stuff. And for 1 week more, Disney, their hotels are outrageously expensive, of course, but Gay Days gets the best possible rate at those hotels, and that rate is available for 1 more week.
Okay.
So that's up there, as well as discounted park tickets are available on the site. That coming up, and then the discounted park tickets will be available up until the week of Gay Days.
Love it.
We're a month out. One month from today.
I know. And the Mismatch Game show is going to be on the 19th at 7 p.m. Yes. So far, we've got Nicole Parker is doing it as Celine Dion, I believe. Tom Lank is back. There's a few folks. Who else? Danny Casillas. Felix is out of town. He's going to be in Spain. He usually does it every year. So I've got to line up a couple more. But it's coming together, and it's going to be fun. And the Mismatch Game audience at Gay Days is like such a surprise to me how into it they are. Like they come up with bits and costumes, and it's very touching, actually, very sweet. And Jackie, your show with Jan is on the Sunday the 20th.
Sunday the 20th at 6 p.m.
Yes,
at the beautiful Sorrel Where's My Dress room.
I love it. I love it. All right. Here's my final question. It's different for each of you, but Jackie, you talked about being in the parade at Disneyland and doing that thing. What do you think that guy would think of the life you're living now?
Oh, well, I think he'd be, the version of me from 20 years old would be impressed that I'm like still going at this pace and running around the world like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what I imagine my 40s would be like, but it's certainly less exciting. And I think he would be disappointed I wasn't filthy rich living in a palace. I don't know.
Right. But he'd be like, you're doing your thing. You're performing. You're making people happy.
I sure am. You know, I have a great life. I honestly get to travel the world. I get to make people smile. And that's the biggest joy for me.
I'm sorry. I have to say on top of that, Jackie has branched out, you know, in a world where drag queens can, and particularly RuPaul queens, can feel a little bit ubiquitous. Jackie has been working also on stage. She did a couple of off-Broadway shows. She was
You were in Sung Sung Blue with Kate Hudson.
I was.
Yes. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was honestly incredible. I mean, they were Kate and Hugh were just incredible, like leaders of the cast. And like every moment off camera was Kate picking up the guitar, both of them singing. It was like a fantasy. It was literally insane. And Craig, our writer director, was just so open to my ideas as like, I think I was 17th on the call sheet, but would like listen to me. And it's because he'd like listen to my ideas is the only reason I appear out of drag in the movie at all. Because originally I was just going to appear as Barbara Streisand. And I was like, well, I don't know if I would like go to, you know, a funeral in drag. There was a funeral in that for people who haven't seen it. And so then that led to the writer director, Craig, adding extra scenes where I'm out of drag earlier in the movie. It was very cool. And like, I know that if I'm lucky enough to be on a feature film set as big as that in the future, I doubt it'll be as wonderful and collaborative, but it was a very cool experience.
Yeah. Well, both of those two actors always seem like fun, nice, kind people. So
absolutely
together and the music around and Kate's outfits were amazing. The hairstyling, like amazing.
What Kate Hudson's able to do in that movie is just incredible. The way that she's able to somehow both be the glamorous movie star we know and also the most real down on her luck Midwestern mom at the same time is kind of incredible that she's able to be both glamorous and utterly Wisconsin relatable. It's
the real
it's
deal.
A feat.
For sure. But Eddie, you were singing Jackie's praises, so continue.
Yeah, just that you know that the I think that there are not so many in the drag universe who are able to be such fantastic and professional queens, and then also parlay that into other acting work. And Jackie's been doing it. And not just because they don't have the talent, because many of them have the talent, but are able to be seen outside of drag because you know how the industry wants to keep you in your box. And Jackie's been doing it. And it's as a fan and a friend, it's been really lovely to watch.
Yeah. When we were setting up this interview very quickly, I could just tell that Eddie had so much respect and affection for you, Jackie. So yeah, because I mentioned some other people and he's like, no, they're assholes. No, I'm just joking. We didn't even go down that road because it's like, it's got to be Jackie. Eddie, here's my final question for you. What are the moments like when you're really moved by what this is? when it hits you of like, oh, this is really meaningful. After all these years, it still matters to me. I still have pride in it. It still moves me.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that one. I mean, I told you that story about that woman. Stories like that always get me. And honestly, Dennis, I can be a bit of a perfectionist. So anytime I'm doing an event, I'm very focused on the event, on making sure that, the logistics are just so that nobody's having to wait unnecessarily, that, I'm very caught up, and I have to constantly remind myself to stop, to take it in, to look around. And the time that I get to do that the most, we have this group photo in front of the castle. And if you go to the website at gaydaysanaheim.com or our Facebook page, you can see that photo of, literally over 1,000 people in front of the castle. And if I were a normal Gay Days guest, I would never, it would not be important enough for me to take time out of my day to be a faceless person in the crowd, because it's so big. You can't spit. You're in the front row. You're not going to spot yourself. But all of these people show up for it year after year. And that moves me.
Right.
Because you all want to be part of this. You all are interested in being part of the company. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's very, we're here, we're queer. Yeah. That's very, we're queer, we're whatever, the phrase. Yeah. And they all take time out of their day to come be a part of this picture. It's beautiful.
Right. And it's not because they, they're going to look the cutest, because they're just in the chorus, but everybody wants to be in the chorus. And I love it. I love it. And they are so damn happy. I mean, that's the other thing, I get feedback from Disney cast members all the time. And Jackie, you can probably speak to this as well. People talk about, tell me all the time that they love working Gay Days. I was just talking to a character attendant who said, oh my God, I love working Gay Days so much because everybody is so nice and everybody's in a good mood. And that's because they're there. They're not having to deal with their kid who's melting down. I mean, actually, I shouldn't say that because there are gay parents there, but the energy is different, when you show up for Gay Days. And I love being able to bring that to people year after year.
Well, I am looking forward to it, and I'm going to try to stay and come and see your show the next day, Jackie. That would be amazing.
Please come. We'll have such a good time.
Yes, I love it.
You'll get to find out which Britney and Christina songs we do.
Wait, I'm so excited about it.
I have to say, Dennis, of all of the Jackie shows that I've seen, and I've seen many, this one has your name written all over it.
Do you do the Slave For You choreography? Bum, 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 bum,
I can't tell you anything else.
I learned that once in dance class. I thought I can die now. Anyway, there's that. You guys, this is delightful. It was fun talking to both of you. I'm looking forward to the event. Thank you for doing this podcast.
Oh,
thank you, Dennis.
Pleasure. Thank you. And thank you for bringing Mismatch Game back every year and, being part of it all. You know what?
It's funny that when we started it, I was like, we'll see what this is like. It was in the pandemic. It was really weird. People showed, and then it's become like a thing. It's become a thing. And I did not expect that. So thank you for that. Cause it's hard to have anything become a thing, you don't take it for granted. So yay. Awesome. All right. Goodbye. And we'll see you by the castle or wherever it is. By the tram, by the people mover. Is that a thing? No, it's not a thing.
But I think the word is, the phrase is, we'll see you real soon.
We'll see you real soon. All right. Thank you guys. All right. Thanks again to Eddie Shapiro and Jackie Cox. Catch them at Gay Days Anaheim, September 18th to 20th. The Mismatch Game will be there too on the 19th. You can learn about all of that at Gay Days Anaheim. Okay, so this happened. Some of you may know that I host virtual game nights from time to time of this game I created called You Don't Know My Life. It was a box party game, and then we started doing virtual games during the pandemic. And it was a nice little side hustle for a long time. And then I got the job with Disney that I've been working at since January. So I haven't been doing them hardly at all. But I got to do one recently. It timed out nice. And it was a trip. I hadn't done it in a while. And it's so much fun. And this was a company that works in tech. They produce hackathons. I don't even know what that is. But they have people from all over the world playing in this Zoom game, and I'm hosting it. And at the end, I said, hey, why don't you guys I get such a kick out of these international games where you type where you're at in the chat. And so this is where everyone was coming from. Sweden, Cairo, California, Egypt, Poland, from India, but now in Australia and Ecuador. That was a company. They were a team, and I was helping them play this game and getting their funny stories and hosting them like a game show. And I don't know, man, it was just cool. I was like, this is cool. It made me feel proud, and it makes you feel like you get a little mini trip somewhere when you get to go into these Zoom rooms all over the world. It's a trip. I love it. So if you're interested in that, go to youdon'tknowmylife.com. You can learn about the game there. I still love doing it when I get the chance and it works out. So that's a thing. All right, that's enough for this week. We'll catch you next time on Dennis Anyone. Bye.